Jamie Vardy was able to volley one left-footed home into the bottom corner, and then in stoppage time, Di Cordova had the easy finish, assisted by Jamie Vardy, to level things up as the full-time score at King Power Stadium. Leicester City 2, Brighton 2.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Wow, 2-0 down Leicester were in the 86th minute, and I've come back and drawn 2-2 in quite dramatic circumstances. Welcome along to the post-match show here on Matchday Live on Fox's Hub with me, Dan Bates. Ewan Roberts and David Nugent are with me still on the sofa. Jerry Taggart, who is on co-commentary duty, will stay with us as well as we assess that. I was fully expecting to come in here. In fact, we did come in here at 2-0 down thinking be a tough little 25 minutes post-show here, but no, that isn't the case now. Remarkable ending to the game.
You know, when Minte went through and scored that second goal, 11 minutes to go, a few fans left early, and I can understand why. It's a horrible afternoon. The game looked dead and buried. Brighton looked as if they'd come in and done a job on Leicester and gone away with 3 points. But fair play to the lads. You know, you talk about spirit, you talk about togetherness, and you just got the feeling if they could get another one. And we were speaking about Jamie Vardy halfway through that second half, and he just works his socks off. He's having to sort of feed off scraps. He doesn't get too many clear opportunities, but he doesn't win, he doesn't moan, he gets on with his job, he encourages others around him. And it's a magnificent finish. I mean, it's a great pass from Bobby De Cordova, really. And yeah, it takes a slight deflection. And then you think, well, there's going to be enough time. The whole atmosphere in the King Power changed. And then the goal that equalises it, it's a simple one when you look at it. But once again, Jamie Vardy, he could have shot himself. Such unselfishness, if that's even a word, played from Jamie. He could have gone for his second and taken the glory, but he's seen a teammate in a better place, in a better position, and it's a simple tap in for Bobby De Cordova reading then. I mean, fantastic. And then you think, is there time to go on and win it? Because had there been a third goal, had been a chance for one of the two teams to go on and win the game, you just got the feeling it was going to be left. Yeah.
We were speaking at half time though, we just need one moment to change the game, didn't we? And obviously going 2-0 down wasn't ideal, but just even Rude was like throwing everyone on the pitch, weren't he, trying to get a goal, and obviously when Vard scored it to make it 2-1. Again, it's just that moment in the game where everyone rises, the fans get on, behind the players. And it was just flood after flood, weren't it? Attack after attack after that. Corners, free kicks, crosses into the box. He could have easily gone on and win the game. Yeah. But it took us, 85 minutes to do it? With
5 minutes to go, Ipswich were winning and would have been going on to 12 points. Leicester losing would have been on 13 points. The gap to the relegation zone would have been 1 point. 5 minutes later, Ipswich have lost. Leicester have come back and drawn, and suddenly it's then 5 points, the gap, which is one more than it was at the very start of the day. Quite unbelievable, really, isn't it, football? But they dug so deep there, Leicester, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. Gave it everything. Lads coming off the bench, made an impact. Mavididi, impressed. We were speaking about the game, or the result before the game, and we both would have accepted a point. They're a good side. They are a good side. As I said earlier, they've only lost 3 times this season. Chelsea, Liverpool, who are 2 of the better sides in the division, and at Craven Cottage on Thursday, which is a tough place to go. 4 points from his opening 2 games. I think that's a really, really respectable start for Ruud van Nistelrooy. I thought we were better in the second half. I thought we played higher up the pitch as a team. We caused them problems. We got in good areas. But just that final pass, that bit of quality that we didn't get until the end, that was lacking. But yeah, I mean, great spirit, great togetherness, great belief to come back from the dead, to be fair.
Jerry Taggart, you've been on co-commentary duty for us, and if Tuesday was dramatic for the fact it was Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge, it was a relatively straightforward victory in the end. Tonight, less so, being a draw, but dramatic circumstances in which to get that point.
It only happens here, doesn't it? I mean, quite unbelievable, quite remarkable to come back. At 2-0. You've got to say, I'm not saying they were cruising Brighton, but you couldn't see a way back for Leicester, really, if I'm being honest. in my opinion. Even though the second half, as Ewan said, was better than the first. But once that second goal goes in for Brighton, you think, well, that's it. You know, a lot of food for thought for Ruud van Nistelrooy. And then a deflected shot changes the game. But just before, I mean, the ball from, I think it was Oliver Skipp who just broke the lines with that pass into Deco-Dover-Reid. And Deco-Dover-Reid, you know, made his mind up early, shifted onto his left foot. I thought it was a shot, you know.
It was a shot.
But he makes his mind up early, Deco-Dover-Reid, to have that shot. He doesn't dwell on it. And yes, it gets deflected to Vardy. But then, you know, lads have already spoke about that. Jamie Vardy has no time to think. He thinks the ball initially is going towards goal. Sees it deflected into his path. He has to take it on his left foot. He's off the ground when he hits it. And it's a superb finish into the bottom corner. And then the King Power Stadium is an uproar. And then again, Jamie Vardy involved. You know, the sub who came off for Brighton, Yulo, gives a ball away, overruns it. And Mavididi does brilliantly. You know, Mavididi could have tucked that on and had a shot himself. But unselfishly plays Vardy in. And then Vardy, I mean, no, I don't think... And maybe El Kanouse in that situation might have done the same thing, but Vardy's done brilliant there. He just all his years' experience, you know, where he could have had a shot and thought, nah, you know what, I'm just going to square this for a tap-in. Superb, under pressure, big moment in the game, massive moment in the game, and he's the one that keeps us cool the most.
Lewis Dunk was about to, he slid as well, didn't he? As well, about to shoot, but he passed it instead. If he shoots, Dunk blocks it. So he's clever enough to wait for Dunk to dive in, to cut a pack behind him for the tap-in for Bobby Deco-Reid. Just little things in little games, little moments that if he doesn't do it, we come away with a 2-1 defeat. But feels like a win, doesn't it, though, as well?
Oh, yeah. When you're in that position, well, we've all been there, 2-0 down, and heads drop. They never, to be fair, they kept on going. They kept on going. And I don't think the Brighton keeper had too much to do. I don't think he was overly worked in the game. But when you need that clinical edge, that sort of composed, cool, calculated finisher, I mean, Jamie Vardy is the man. But there comes a stage we have to help ourselves. I mean, the second goal, and I looked at you straight away, Tags, Samari, and I thought he did well today. I think he was brilliant. I think he's improving every game, Samari. But it's the wrong area to play in. You know, he's 15 yards from his own box. He tries to take 3, 4, 5 touches. He's surrounded by Brighton players. He loses the ball. They break forward and they score, and it's 2-0. There comes a time where you have to make good decisions. But once again, I'll reiterate. I thought he was very, very good once again.
Yeah, I think today's game, I think they were overthinking it too much today because of the result. You know, against West Ham, they were doing things really, really quickly, really early. You know, 1 and 2 touch passing, playing in behind, getting the ball forward nice and early. And today, they weren't doing that as much. Second half, they did it more in the first half. But again, like you say, they were trying to overthink it, trying to look for the perfect pass to the right player instead of, at times, playing the ball into the right areas for players to hopefully get on the end of. So,
I thought we were a bit more direct last 20 minutes as well. Run back to front a bit quicker, just get the ball in their half, because we were just passing it in our own half for the sake of it, really.
Really looking like hurting them.
It was like, get it forward, get the second balls, play in their half, and we go from there. That's what I felt like last 20 minutes, and it worked. With the subs as well.
Is it the most fighting spirit, Jerry, that you've seen all season, do you think, from a Leicester point of view there, coming from 2-0 down with 5 minutes to go?
Well, we've seen it a few times where Leicester have come back in the games but not got the results, ended up losing the game.
Being unlucky.
So as far as actually getting something out of the game, by showing that never say die attitude, come on, we and, you know, believing that they can get themselves back into the game, you'd have to say, yeah. You know, because I honestly thought, no, this game was done and dusted.
We all did.
And you know, I couldn't say a way back. No. But it just shows, you know, the quality that they do have and the persistence that they show, even though they're behind.
Because I missed the first goal. I've come in and I've gone to the toilet because I was bursting for the wee, and I've come out and I've heard the shout. And I've got these two Leicester fans walking towards me, and I can't repeat what they said live on air. But obviously they thought that Brighton had scored a third.
Oh, yeah.
So they've gone into one of the boxes, and I think, 3-0, that looks a real hammering now. And I've got into the studio, and of course it's chock-a-block with staff and all celebrating Jamie Vardy's goal. I mean, it's a tremendous turnaround, and sometimes a result like you got on Tuesday, a result like we've got today, coming from nowhere, that can turn your season. That can have a really positive impact on a club season.
Well, 4 points from 2 games. That is very good going, isn't it, for the new man, Ruud van Nistelrooy? And I suppose, probably, if not definitely, if a Leicester fan was offered that at 12 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon,
Take it on, yeah.
You'll get 4 points from your next 2. You'd probably take it, don't you, under a new manager?
100%. I think they would have taken 3. So yeah, things have been going recently. You know, obviously the first game under Ruud, I think everyone's up for it, aren't they?
5 goals
against
as well.
West Ham, fair, 5 goals. Obviously, no clean sheets again, but again, when you got show fighting spirit in games like this, you don't mind giving goals if you're going to play like that, like the last 10 minutes. Now, then last 10 minutes or 5 minutes, 6 minutes was absolutely carnage. That's what we want to play like, if you can. At the start of the game, you know, trying to get into the faces early doors and score a few early goals, but it just leaves the fans on edge, doesn't it? Them last 6-7 minutes, knowing that they've got it in them, you just need to see it more often.
Now going up to somewhere on next weekend who are in a bit of turmoil. You know, there's no reason, if the lads can sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Give the same application as they have done in the last 2 games.
Fight as they fought.
Yeah, spirit. Go up to St James's Park and turn Newcastle over, who are not in the best of runs at the minute.
Be interesting to try and get inside the mind of Ruud van Nistelrooy about his team talk after that, because I think even he must have thought that, you know, this game was over and done, and then for his team to come back the way they did, I mean, if that doesn't give you confidence going into this game next week against Newcastle, sorry, you know, well, the way they've come back, it's just quite remarkable, isn't it? And he probably can't quite believe it either. And there's obviously a few issues that needs ironing out. You know, you mentioned one of them about overplaying in the wrong areas. I've seen a lot of that today.
And to be fair, Taz, I think a lot of clubs, nearly at every level,
does it,
sort of try and overplay in because that's the modern way of playing now.
But what I'm saying is, we didn't see that against West Ham, did we? There was less of that. Yeah. There was more quick thinking, playing the ball in the good areas, and it worked. It worked an absolute treat. Today, I'm not saying they reverted back to type, but I'm not saying they went backwards either, but they didn't carry on the style of play that they showed the other night, and that intensity for the whole of the 90 minutes that they showed the other night. But they still got a positive result out of the game from coming from behind.
And Brighton pressed far better than West Ham did. Yeah. They had 5, 6, 7 bodies at times.
Oh, they're very good.
Yeah. They squeeze as a team. And if you're going to do it and do it successfully, that's how it's got to be done.
I don't think it suits the way we play either. With all this passing in there on and off, I don't think we've got the players for it. Get the ball forward.
That's what happened against West Ham.
To the wingers, who are our most dangerous players, strikers, and the 10s, give it to them. Let them get it there quick enough so they can do it.
Particularly El Khanous, who we've seen in the last couple of games.
Just give them they're your best players who are going to win the games. Give them the ball as quick as you can. Get it forward as quick as you can with a bit of purpose, a bit of quality. Let them do their work.
I think also as well, there might have been a little bit of the unknown for West Ham and Lopetegui coming into the game on Tuesday night against Leicester, as regards to Ruud van Nistelrooy and the way he plays. And so Brighton would have had a chance to analyse the game from Tuesday night and maybe, you know, tweak a few things in their game to stop Leicester from trying to play. But who knows? You know, at the end of the day, Leicester have come away with an impossible draw, basically. You know, so you got to take your hat off to the lads.
Yeah. Let's talk individuals then. Bouba Soumare's already had a mention. Up there is in one of the better players on the pitch, do you think, today from a Leicester point of view?
I think was it against Nottingham Forest he came on for the first time this season. It's definitely a game that I was here, and I think that was the one. And he impressed me then, to be fair. You know, he's got a great engine. He's a really good presence. He's strong. He's powerful. He can play. You know, he's got 2 good feet. He just maybe at times switches off, takes one too many touches, and gets caught on the ball. But as I said to you, Dan, the more I see him, the more I like. The more I see him, the better he gets. I think he's been very, very good in these last 2 games.
I think we're starting to see the bit because he's playing more games.
Yeah.
The more game time you get, the fit he's going to get, the match fit he's going to get. He's had a stop-start career at Leicester, and he's not really been a mainstay in the team since he's been here. He's been on loan, he's come back.
He didn't have a future
exactly,
here,
he
really.
probably thought he'd be getting sold in the summer or something like that. So for him to come back and start playing week in, week out, and we're starting to see the real Bubakari tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll talk obviously about Jamie Vardy in just a moment, but before we do, I mentioned for Bobby De Cordova-Reid, might be easy because he is the man that got the equaliser, but just think to Tuesday against West Ham, he had a goal disallowed. He wasn't the man offside, it was a bit earlier in the move. Then he came on and really showed a lot of fight. Today he came on, put himself about, got very fortunate, let's be honest, with the first goal back for Jamie Vardy, his shot deflecting into Vardy. But then he was there to get that equaliser and finally get his goal in front of the King Power.
You don't shoot, you don't score, you don't shoot, your shot doesn't get deflected and it doesn't fall into Jamie Vardy's path. I saw a lot of him when he was at Cardiff. He sort of drifts in and out of games, but he puts himself in decent positions. Obviously, since then, he's moved on to Fulham and now come to Leicester. He needed something, I think, to kickstart his Leicester City career, because he started in the team, then he was taken out and found himself on the bench. A bit like Patson Daka the other night, coming off the bench and getting Leicester's third and putting the game to bed. We're hoping that will do Patson the world of good. Hopefully that equalising goal in the dying deaths of that second half will do the same for Bobby De Cordova-Reid.
Yeah, he's vastly experienced, isn't he, as well? And it's no coincidence that, he finds himself in those attacking positions. And, where he was today, for example, and again on Tuesday night, vastly experienced player. Be interesting to see, moving forward. Obviously, Buonanotte not allowed to play today, but, if you're I would sort of like, you had Jordan Ayew starting today, and it didn't go the way Jordan wanted today, but he always affects a game, De Cordova-Reid, when he comes on. Again, he's not the quickest anymore. He used to be razor sharp, didn't he? He was always razor sharp as a player, especially when he was at Cardiff, and that's what got him to move to Fulham. But he always affects a game. He's always in good areas. He takes up good positions to receive the ball. And as we've seen today, takes up good positions to have a tap and finish.
Which you have to be there, don't you, to score. And Jamie Vardy, okay, I mean, to pass that, you spoke about, waiting and letting Dunk dive in like he did. But to have the presence of mind to do that, the unselfishness to do that, considering you've just scored yourself 5 minutes earlier, because he knows it's for the better of the team, that is so impressive.
Yeah, if it was 2-0, I don't think he would have passed it. He would have shot for his hat-trick, wouldn't he? But I think the circumstances in the game, getting beat 2-1, he's seen Dunk, he's lining up for a shot. You can see him lining up for a shot, and he realised Dunk's coming in to tackle him with the slide tackle. So he just bides his time. I think it was Mavididi and De Cordova-Reid, both of them there, waiting for a tap-in. Obviously, Bobby's at the front of the line for the tap-in, and just have that awareness on the pitch in that moment, in the 91st minute. He could have easily just recklessly shot and tried to score himself, but he realised someone else in a better position. And to square it and get the goal and gives us the point for you at the end of the day. And
fair play, by the way, to Steffi Mavididi for winning the ball back on the edge of the box, Jerry. It was obviously not great from the Brighton defender trying to play out the way he did, but he was hounded by about 3 players, and it was eventually Mavididi who won it, then set Vardy in.
Yeah, again, we've seen Mavididi in the past. Springs to mind last season where he's had opportunities to put other players in and he hasn't. He's been selfish and gone through and not scored. I think, was it Southampton?
Yeah.
There's a game that springs to mind where Jimmy Vardy's screaming for the ball. He doesn't give him it. He misses his chance. Yes, he does end up scoring on that night. But today he makes exactly the right decision. You know, he could have got it out of his right foot and went and had a shot, but realised that Jamie was in a better position and did exactly the right thing. And then, again, carried on his run in case he got the ball back from Vardy. But as we know, it fell to the feet of Bobby Dover-Reid. So, but yeah, good play from Mavididi. Again, in a big moment in the match, under severe pressure, you have to make the right decisions in those moments. And thankfully he did that.
There were 3 players actually waiting for the pullback from Vardy. It was Daka, Dover-Reid and Mavididi himself were all in that position. That is a good sign, news, isn't it? Of a team
all strikers in the box. What a goal, that's what it is.
But again, actually fair play, because I think we said to each other probably about 15 minutes to go, maybe time for Daka. You'd assume it would have been Vardy who would have come off for a straight swap. If that happens, Vardy doesn't get a goal and an assist. He's put them both on. He's gone for broke.
He's been brave. He's been brave, the manager. Yeah, and I guess his hands were sort of forced a little bit with that Brighton second goal. We had to get more bodies in forward areas, and that's what the substitutes that he brought on enabled Leicester to do. And because he was brave, he got his just rewards in the end. I mean, he played for the manager and what they used to call it Fergie time. Man used to score so many late goals. Maybe today it was Root's time. Those 2 late goals from Leicester. Dan, I don't think you can emphasise what a big important point that is today.
Yeah, massive point. As you said, being 2-0 down, everyone thought the game was over. We all thought the game was over. Just that one little spark of a goal that gets everyone going just causes chaos. You see Brighton just went deeper and deeper and deeper when we went 2-1 down. When we scored to make it 2-1, they were just sitting back and just hoping they'd hold on for a victory. But the pressure just tells.
Yeah.
We've all been there where we've thrown a 2-goal lead away late on, or we've come back to draw a game that maybe shouldn't have got anything from. The difference in those 2 changing rooms beneath us now. I mean, the Leicester one will be absolutely buzzing. Can't wait for that next game. All of a sudden, Brighton thrown a 2-goal lead away as they did. They've now not won in their last 3. That will be really flat. I would have thought.
And again, and that probably all again, Jerry, will come from the manager, and we'll see that. And he himself, there's a lot of videos of how he used to get involved with the celebrations when he was at PSV, and you can imagine that he'd be the same in there. And because that is such a big point to get. Okay, it's only a point, but 2-0 down with 5 minutes to go at home, it is game over, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it wasn't today.
But it wasn't. Somehow. And you've got to... And when things like this happen, you've got to grab it with both hands. And that's what I'm saying. It'd be interesting to see. It would be interesting to hear his team talk after that, because obviously there was a few issues that weren't right today, but somehow they've grabbed a point. And Ewan's hit the nail on the head by saying Leicester's changing room will be bouncing, and Brighton will be absolutely, hanging their heads because they didn't get over the line in that game from a really good position and really controlling the majority of the game, you'd have to say. Looking really comfortable for the majority of that game. First goal goes in, and now they're all on the back foot. They're all panicking. The sub comes on, overruns the ball because he can't make his mind up what he wants to do. Bang, we're in again. So you take the positives, you turn it into a win, even though it's not. And then obviously with the result you've just mentioned a few moments ago with Ipswich, that's just a double whammy today. A double whammy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 1 point. It was 1 point.
It was 1
5
point.
Minutes to go.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's 5.
But it's but exactly, it's a 4 point gain.
Yeah.
If you want to, you know what I mean. It's a 4 point gain for Leicester today because they've won the point and Ipswich have gained none from having 3 points potentially in the bag to having none. So it's a 4 point gain.
And now he's got a full week to prepare.
How big could that be?
That could be huge. Because he's been limited to the time he can have on the training pitch with the players because of the 2 games in the short space of time, and obviously with the amount of games in this month, you can't overload the players. He'll be giving information. He'll be throwing certain things. he'll be working on things that need improving, and I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say the defensive side of the team needs to improve. But yeah, it's a get the feeling it's going to be a really good week up at Sweetgrave. It'll be a good place to be, I would have thought.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Nuge?
Definitely, yeah. You know, as we said, it's from being 2-0 down to getting a point. Feels like a win. Set your positives. Show them the clips of the last 6-7 minutes of that game. And the lads will be buzzing. You know, that's what you want to see. Or, you know, every game. And, you know, as you said, he's got a whole week of training now where he can get his ideas across how he wants to play. But we've seen in 2 games, like if we get the ball forward into our attacking players, we score goals and we cause damage. I think we just need to do that a little bit quicker and we'll be fine.
And then the bit of self-belief. You know, it's all right, a manager coming in, a new manager coming in and sitting all the lads down and telling them what he wants and how he's going to get it, and then going out onto the training pitch and showing them on the training pitch. But the actual see the rewards on the pitch when it really matters is the most enjoyable thing as a player. It's the thing that gives you belief. You trust what the manager says, so you go out and you perform for him.
Absolutely. We will be here, of course, again next week for that game with Newcastle. It is away at St James's Park, but as ever, we'll cover it here on Matchday Live on Fox's Hub in just under a week's time. Of course, that game being on the Saturday, so we'll be live from 2 p.m. For that one, and then a huge game against Wolves here just before Christmas as well. That is another Sunday kickoff at 2 o'clock, so you can join us for that one from 1. Keep an eye out, of course, on the app and on lcfc.com for plenty of content coming your way in the coming weeks as well, and there'll be plenty of interviews. I'm sure it'll be interesting to hear what Ruud van Nistelrooy himself has to say, as well as maybe Jamie Vardy and Bobby Decordova-Reid after that dramatic 2-2 draw here at King Power Stadium today. Leicester 2-0 down with 4 minutes to go have salvaged a point against the Seagulls. Thank you very much to David Nugent, Ewan Roberts and Jerry Taggart for their company today. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody, and we'll see you all in a week's time. Goodbye.